Hi, my name is Evelyn. I'm glad you stopped by. Today I want to show you one of the approaches I've been working with for years. It helped me build a system where you don't need to guess or stress out. Instead, you calmly analyze and feel like you actually understand what's happening. When I first started, everything felt too confusing. Tons of information, complex terms, conflicting opinions, and back then, what I needed most was a simple and clear explanation without pressure or the race for quick results. Now, I try to give exactly that to others: clarity, structure, and confidence that you can figure it out. Even if you've never dealt with this before, if you're curious to see how you can approach this calmly and with interest, stick around. I'll explain everything in plain language and show how I apply it in practice. When I was just starting out, I really wished I could simply watch how others work, what they focus on, how they make decisions, and what truly matters and what can wait. Now I try to offer that opportunity to those who are just beginning. In my community, I share real case breakdowns, not in lecture format, but as a dialogue, with explanations, examples, and a calm pace. This helps avoid overload and gradually build your own understanding. You can simply take a look, see how it works, ask questions, and watch how different members move forward. It's all set up to make it easy and comfortable to join, even if it used to feel like this is too hard. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. If this resonates with you, you're very welcome. Now let's dive into the practical part. Alright, I've got almost everything set up for today's session. I've selected the pairs and tools I'll be working with: zigzag and stochastic. They help me read the chart more clearly. Zigzag highlights key reversal points and filters out noise, while the stochastic indicates moments when the market might be overheated or weakened. Together, they provide a cleaner view for analysis. All right, let's begin. Here we go. Looking at the first pair, I noticed that after a climb, there has been a gradual weakening. One of the indicators suggests a trend reversal. The lines have crossed and are now moving downward. Plus, the chart shows a downward move that overtook the previous upward leg, often an early sign of a sentiment shift. Based on these factors, I decided to go short. Great, let's keep going. I see the overall trend is still upward. There has been a pause and a small pullback within this trend. Below the current levels, there is a zone that has seen multiple reactions. Price hasn't been allowed to drop below. Stochastic is low and starting to turn upward. The lines are converging and shifting direction. This could be an early sign of a return to the main upward move. Based on that, I'm going long. So far, everything's logical. No emotions, and that's important. Let's see what we have here. I notice a zone where the price has reversed twice at the same level. The chart pattern resembles a double top, a classic formation that often signals a reversal. Looking at the stochastic, the second touch of this zone shows lower peak values than the first. This divergence can signal weakening momentum. After a strong downward move appears, I decide to go short. Alright team, let's keep the momentum moving forward. Checking this one out. After a strong decline, I see a shift forming on the indicator. The first sign of a potential reversal appears, followed by a price shape with a noticeable lower wick. That may suggest the downward pressure is weakening. Based on that, I anticipate a possible move up. Let's stay sharp and keep the pace up. You know what many people say after their first few weeks in my community? I didn't know it was possible to work without anxiety and fear of loss. That's exactly what matters to me, creating a space where you don't have to guess, rush, or feel like you're out of place. Everything is designed so that you can join the process at your own pace and see how I do things, openly, with explanations, and without pressure. I explain how and why the chart behaves a certain way, and I'm there to help if anything seems unclear. If you'd like to see what this format looks like from the inside, check out the link in the description or pinned comment. You can simply observe, and maybe that one step help you develop new skills and opportunities. Come in and come back when you are ready. All right, looking at this pair, I spot a divergence between the tool's direction and the chart's behavior. One indicator marks a top, but the other doesn't confirm it. Also, the oscillator line moved beyond the upper limit and has started to turn. A confident move downward is forming, and I decide to follow it. Nice, let's keep going, team. I see the move continues to follow the downward trajectory, confirmed by a new low on one of the indicators. Then a pullback begins, during which the other indicator breaks above the upper range. The chart returns to a previously marked zone. Considering this behavior, I expect the current trend to continue and open a trade in the same direction. It's great when actions start to feel intuitive, but never switch off your brain. Let's keep going. I see the price has been moving sideways in a range near a key area. Meanwhile, one of the indicators has been sitting in the upper zone for a while. When price breaks out above the market level, the indicator pushes even higher into a zone that often signals overheating. Considering all this, I assume the breakout may not last. I go short. That one wasn't easy, but it played out well. I noticed one of the indicators has stayed in the overbought area for a long time, a spot where reversals often occur. A pattern is forming on the chart that hints at weakening upward momentum. Then I see the indicators start to turn. That could be a sign of a shift. I choose to go short. All right, friends, let's do a couple more. Let's go here. I see we are approaching a key zone that influenced price before. At this moment, one of the indicators is deep in its lower range and starts turning upward. This kind of setup often becomes the starting point of an upward move. And now let's wrap things up. Okay. Just as expected, the price dipped a bit, but the overall trend remains upward. I notice it approaching a key zone that has previously influenced behavior. The indicator is in the lower part of the range and starts to reverse. It fits the model I had in mind, so I decide to go long. Perfect. That brought a whole new energy to the session. That's it. Sometimes all it takes for things to shift is simply seeing how it can be different. If you feel like you've been going in circles, trying to change something, but keep hitting the same wall, maybe it's time to try a different approach. One that's calm, clear, and supportive from the very beginning. In my community, you won't find dry theory. You'll find a real living process, analysis, insights, real steps. I explain how I build my own approach, simply, without jargon, with examples, and in a format that helps you move forward instead of getting stuck. Take a look via the link in the description or the first pinned comment. Everything is open, you can just see how it works. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope your next step moves you beyond the loop of trying and into real change. See you soon.